What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about why I'm getting Stalker 2. This is a video series I do where I talk about an upcoming game and talk about whether I'm getting it, not getting it, or I'm somewhere in between. And this one was honestly pretty easy. November's got a lot of potentials in it, right? Whereas October and even I would say September with Astrobot, or even August with Black Myth Wukong, right? Some of them had very big heavy hitters or games that I was highly anticipating, kind of no matter what happened, right? Whatever was going to happen with Life is Strange was going to happen. Silent Hill is a good example, right? But I knew I was going to get them just so I could, try it out and say good or bad things. And November is a little bit more of a mix. You got things like Slitterhead, which is kind of more experimental, Planet Coaster 2, Lego Horizon, and a game like Stalker 2. All of them different, and all of them, they're like what ifs, right? Like, what if this game is spectacular? What if the game is fine? And they all are doing it kind of in their own way, right? Stalker 2, I would say, is a pretty easy one for me for two reasons. Number one, it's so different, I guess, from all of the other ones. Now, I guess you could say the same thing for the other ones, right? There is no other Slitterhead. There is no other Planet Coaster. There is no other Stalker. But Stalker also has Game Pass, and I gotta be honest, that's a pretty big reason why I'm looking at this game. I don't want to make this and I'm not here to say oh, Game Pass is the greatest, go buy Game Pass. I'm not here to do those moments you see on Twitter. I mean, Game Pass is a service. It's a service I pay for, and I try to take advantage of it whenever possible. Call of Duty, Stalker, Indiana Jones, even potentially. I guess we'll see if maybe I even purchase that one. But that's it's an easy gateway, right, into Stalker 2, where this is a game that's not directly up my alley, but it's a game that opens itself up to me because of Game Pass, and because the only thing I lose here is time, right? Don't lose money if Stalker 2 is a failure, or it's just not for me. And I've been kind of honest about that, leading into it. It could be a game that just doesn't jive with me. This is a difficult game. This is a game that doesn't hold your hand. This is a game where you go out and a couple bullets or a bullet in the wrong place could be literally the end of you, right? And then you restart. And it's about preserving ammo and, a lot of things that they're fine. I'm not anti them. They're just not things that are up my alley, right? Well, I mean, number one, I don't really play a lot of first-person shooters. And when I do, I'm more into the kind of over-the-top actiony ones. I think of Bulletstorm as maybe one of the better first-person shooters to me, because it's just so kind of crazy. It's got that high tempo, kind of straightforward narrative feel, right? That's a game that kind of speaks to me. But, I Call of Duty, Battlefield, all of them, I've played them before, obviously. And, again, Stalker's a bit different. Stalker is way more unforgiving. Stalker's a little bit more open, right? And kind of allows that player freedom to tackle situations or tackle quests the way that you want to tackle them, but they also have that very difficult spin on it, right? Weapons will degrade. When you pick up a weapon, it might already be half broken or whatever. This is a game that's challenging and doesn't hold your hand and kind of lets you just go off. And, I've never promised that's going to work for me, and I guess that's why you got the Game Pass feel to it, right? Where it's hey, if it doesn't work, and I try to do that. I think to Scorn is a good example of I can respect Scorn, but Scorn just was not for me. I was just not enjoying my time. It's not, I guess I play puzzle games, and I can play grotesque games, but games that are kind of combined and just, I don't know what that game was trying to do. It didn't get me, but I can respect the art. I can respect the actual game, even though it's not for me. And I hope to do the same thing with Stalker. I hope this is just flat out a good game. And then if it speaks to me, that's great. It's a game I'm going to try out at least a couple times, right, to see if I can actually get through it. If it doesn't speak to me, again, I lose time. I don't lose money. And I hope I can still respect it for what it is, even if it's not for me. And it's also just one of the very last games to come out this year. I mentioned the other November. For me, that was November, what I said earlier. Then you got Stalker 2, you got Marvel Rivals, and you got Indiana Jones. That's it. That's the rest of the year. That's it. I mean, it's been a year that's had 50 games that I've played in one way or another. It's been a big year. But, this is one of the games that's kind of closing out the year. I'm excited to play it. Definitely comes out in a more soft spot compared to a lot of these October games that have competed, against each other, right? Been put up against each other. For this game, yeah, you got games around it, but, you have a little bit more space space, and there's just way less. There's far less games in November and December than there were in September and October, and I'm looking forward to it kind of cooling off, quieting down, and being able to try out. And, like I said, I mean, this video is for Stalker, but all of these games are kind of experimental. They're all a little bit different, and there's no guarantee. I guess there's no guarantee with any game, but there's no guarantee with any of them. Slitterhead, Planet Coaster, maybe it's an established thing. They're very good at what they do. But like a Slitterhead, Lego Horizon, a game like Stalker, there's no guarantee they're going to be great, and they're all very different from each other, and I'm looking forward to it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.